Notice, challenge, change. And in CBT, it's change that we're aiming for. Hi there, my name is Thomas Brown from Quillia Counseling Services, and today I'd like to talk to you about change in our CBT trilogy of Notice, Challenge, Change. Let's remember that these videos are designed as self-help videos. If you're feeling unsafe or really overwhelmed, it may be time to call 911 or go to your local emergency room. If you're dealing with an issue that's feeling pretty big and you're pretty emotional about it, but you're feeling safe, it might be time to call a place like Quillia Counseling Services or another agency in your area so that you can get the professional help that you need. If you're feeling like this is about a 5 out of 10 or lower on the emotional Richter scale, this is probably a good video for you. It might be something that you also buy a self-help book for or some sort of manual, but that's what these videos are really designed for. And as I said, we'd like to start talking about change today. We've talked so much about kind of the beginnings, setting the stage for CBT, learning about the cognitive model, different understandings of how to use it with different things like depression, anxiety, and stress. We've spent time learning about noticing our thoughts and behaviors, challenging our thoughts and behaviors, and now we're getting to this end point where we're changing our thoughts and behaviors. Let me pull up my screen as I always do and share my slides with you. Here we are with our Notice, Challenge, Change, and the big old red change slide, part 1. So you'll remember last time we went through that changing our thoughts or challenging our thoughts worksheet, and I really hope that you've downloaded it and practiced with it with your thoughts throughout the week. And remember, at the end of that, we called that whole process of challenging our thoughts cognitive restructuring. And what we're getting to today is how do we kind of tie that all up with a little bit of a nice ribbon or a bow so that we can really restructure our thoughts. When it comes to change, I think it's really important that we're looking for balanced, fair, and helpful thinking. I don't want people to be aiming for positive thinking necessarily, although there is a place for positive thoughts and positive affirmations. But sometimes if we just say, you know, everything's great or it'll all work out, we don't really believe it that much, because sometimes thinking in extreme positive terms is as problematic as thinking in extreme negative terms. So again, we're looking for that middle of the road, balanced, fair, and helpful thinking. Not all negative, not all positive. I kind of joke with my clients, you know, the world is not all cigarette butts and trash in the gutters, but it's also not rainbows and unicorns and butterflies. We've got something kind of in the middle, and that's what we're aiming for. When we're talking about cognitive restructuring and that process that we went through with looking at the changing our thoughts or challenging our thoughts worksheet, really what that requires us to do or asks us to do is to look at the whole situation and evaluate it based on the whole thing, all the different parts of it, rather than just one or two small pieces. I kind of talk about taking our emotional blinders off so that we can see things for really what they are, and then making some fair decisions and fair assumptions, not assumptions, but fair kind of conclusions based on that. So a really great template that we use might look something like this. And I know that in my office, a lot of people even have this written on their whiteboards, or it might be something that we present to our clients. So when we've done all this cognitive restructuring, we look at the whole situation and we say, it may be true that blank, and it is also true that blank. And I've put that and in italics. It's pretty subtle there, but I really think the and is important so that we can kind of see that both things are at play at the same time. It's kind of that balanced way of thinking. So if we take a look at that situation that I was talking about in my last video, or the one that was on the example of the worksheet, the situation is, or I guess this is a little bit different, but it's at work and we see a group of people who are talking quietly. So there's our situation, and maybe the negative thought that I have is they're talking about me. They're gossiping and they're talking about me. And of course, we could think that that might make me feel sad or maybe a little bit anxious. So we work through our Notice, Challenge, Change process using that challenging our thoughts worksheet, asking ourselves good questions, getting curious about it, wondering if there's another way or a more fair, balanced, and helpful way of thinking. And then we might arrive at a thought like, it may be true that they are talking about me, and it is also true that I have no idea what they're saying, and they could be talking about a whole lot of other things. So there you go, that we're seeing, well, I guess, you know, they're over there, they're chatting about something. I suppose they could be talking about me, but they could also be talking about a whole lot of other stuff. And if I kind of keep going down this thought path, you know, I could start saying, why do I think they're talking about me? and what am I so important that, everyone's talking about me and stuff like that. We start kind of, really kind of leaning into that thought and saying, yeah, likely they're just chatting about something else. It's likely not about me. So that's a way that we're kind of bringing cognitive restructuring right around to a changed thought. We have this new thought at the end. We go from that negative thought, they're talking about me, and using our template to say, it may be true that they are talking about me, because it's a possibility, I suppose. And it is also true, I have no idea what they're saying, and they could be talking about a whole lot of other things. So what do we do with this now? So this is, now what? So we've looked at notice, challenge, change. We've brought this whole process right through to the end. And, we need to ask ourselves, did this process make me feel differently? Probably when I was wondering if those people were talking about me, I might feel worried or anxious. If I come through to the other side of this process where I say, well, they're probably not talking about me, I have no idea what they're saying, I probably feel maybe more neutral, if not a little bit positive. So we have to check in on our feelings, and we maybe want to make a bit of a game plan. Well, if they're talking over there, but probably not talking about me, maybe I'll just get on with my day. I don't know, maybe I'll go see and ask what they're talking about. Maybe there's something big going on that I need to find out about. Maybe I'll just say I don't care, and I'll get on with something else and go have my lunch or coffee or whatever the case may be. So here those options are, choose not to get on with my day, talk to them, that kind of stuff. And it's also important to maybe take our new thoughts out for a test drive. I often talk to clients that sometimes our thoughts make sense logically in our heads, but we might not feel them in our guts and our hearts. And so we might need to go and test them out. We might need to, try them out in different situations, remind ourselves about these thoughts, and really make sure that we're remembering them and learning them. So there we go. Notice, challenge, change. We've brought it right through around the cognitive restructuring, right through around to finding a balanced thought at the end with that template of it might be true that blank, and it also might be true that blank. So from here, you can take these ideas, these worksheets, you can take that template and head off into your life, notice thoughts, go through a process of challenging them, and see about coming up with a restructured, more balanced, more helpful thought. I really recommend you do some pen to paper work with this because it slows us down, and you'll find that it's probably pretty helpful in restructuring our thoughts and feeling differently, if not better, about our day. Thanks again. My name is Thomas Brown from Qualia Counseling Services. Take care.